A very good morning to all of you. Now, today we have come up with a very different topic, and that is should we watch a bilingual video or English video only, or the video that is done in only English. Now, definitely, we do ourselves have two of the channels. One is this Examrace, where it's only English, and the other is Examrace Hindi. However, we say it's Examrace Hindi, but there is bilingual aspect, it's not completely Hindi. Okay, so what is the difference? Now, the difference comes first of all when you have the thought formation that occurs. So, let's say if I am reading a newspaper, have you seen any of the newspaper coming in a bilingual language, half of which it is written in English and the remaining in Hindi? Obviously not. And the same happens with any book that you are referring, any kind of any study material that you are referring. Then why it's so different when it comes to video? Definitely you should adopt a strategy. Whatever language you are following, whatever means you are doing, there should be one option that should be selected, and that should be only English, or it should be bilingual only if you are not able to understand only English. So that is the first criteria you need to understand. Okay. Now, what is very important? Now, when it comes to fluency of thoughts, as we said, when you are reading only and only one language, what would actually happen? When you are reading only and only one language, you would have a better concentration, a better fluency of thoughts that would be generated. The word structural formation would be much more apt, because you are considering, let's say I want to explain the simple concept, theory of gravitation. That concept I can explain only in English, and I can have the whole sentence in Hindi with few terms, or the regional language, and few terms in English which could explain that. But if you are going and writing your answers back in English, what would happen? That fluency of thought would come only when you are reading only English or you are listening only English. And if it is a kind of bilingual language, your mind would have to do two processing simultaneously. And since there would be two processing simultaneously, what would happen? Your brain would require much more time, so the processing time would increase definitely. As a result, the processing time is increasing. What would happen? The output time would decrease. So the way under which you were able to write, let's say 10 points, you would be able to generate only 5 points out there. Your cognitive skills become very sharp when you are basically understanding and comprehending and expressing in the same language. So that is very important. However, when we talk about government scenarios, we do understand that there have been various developments that are seen, and these developments could be in the form of understanding a concept, and there has been a concept of three language formula that has been adopted by the government. So understanding and reading those languages is a totally different thing. Okay, so when you are reading Hindi, let's say when you are reading Sanskrit, when you are reading any other regional language, that is a totally different scenario. But when it comes to understanding all the subjects in a specific language, then it becomes very important to understand what language you need to understand. Sudesh has a message here. Definitely, Sudesh, we all are with you. Don't worry, you would be getting well soon. So be faithful and work accordingly. Don't think about it, and the best way is to divert your mind from there. Okay, the Priya has another question. Upload a video about history. So yes, Priya, we are in development with NCERT's 11th and 12th, so those would be covered pretty soon. Deepika has a question about Hindi videos. Deepika, Hindi videos are available at Examrace Hindi. So we have the separate channel there where you have the Hindi books that are available. Okay, the Hindi videos, sorry, that are available. Okay, so let's understand. When the government launched the three language formula, or whenever we say it's good that you have command with multiple languages, what is very important to understand is we talk about understanding and learning enhancement in terms of gaining knowledge about foreign languages or regional languages, talking about reducing the delay in cognitive damage because you are able to comprehend so many languages. But that's a different story. When it comes to writing your answer, you should be very very sure where can you actually lose. So where can you actually lose is something that is very very important to comprehend. Now what would happen if you listen a bilingual video? A bilingual video would lead to lack of expression, because I have heard a little in regional language, I have heard a little in English. When it comes to writing, I am confused, I am not able to make up the whole sentences as such. And as I gave the example before, when you are reading a newspaper, when you are reading a book, it's never bilingual. Then why so in the case of videos as well? Okay, so a newspaper is either in the regional language or in English. So you opt either to go for an English newspaper or to go for a regional or a Hindi newspaper. So that's the difference. The difference comes in expression, and moreover when it's English specifically, the key idea is it's not your mother tongue, and definitely since it's not your mother tongue, you have to comprehend it and express it. So if you are watching English content, if you are listening to English content, if you are reading English content, then that would come in your natural processing. You won't have to put in an extra effort to understand and comprehend and write your answers. The next important thing is spelling errors. So most of the time what is happening is, I have seen the students writing good answers, very good answers, but ultimately there are lots and lots of spelling errors. Why so? Because they have been listening content in a bilingual aspect, and as a result there are lots and lots of spelling and vocabulary errors that are there. And these vocabulary errors, these spelling errors can be easily resolved if you are completely into the language in which you want to write your exam. Okay, so that is again a very very important construct that you need to keep in mind. There are numerous questions here. Bharat has one of the questions: which is the best book for aptitude? So aptitude, Bharat, comes with practice. So whatever books you have, we have the book list available at Examrace, so you can just go through that, and if you have any specific book, try to practice a lot, and that's the only way to succeed for your aptitude. And be sure, sometimes a lot of references, if those are local references, could have incorrect answers, so make sure you are not getting confused because of the incorrect answers being marked. Creative Studio has another question: why are you not saying all chapters in NCERT? We have covered all the chapters of NCERT from 6th to 10th already, and 11th and 12th is in development. A lot of which political science is nearly done, and it is being scheduled for the upcoming days, so would be available to you very soon. Shrestha has a question: please tell how to prepare for language subject. She's from Northeast Delhi and has not given the board exam till now. Okay, Shrestha, so you are preparing still for your board exams, the remaining papers that are being left. So Shrestha, don't worry, work hard, and the only thing is practice writing. So writing section becomes very very important with your language subjects. So make sure you are practicing good on essay writing, pressay writing, comprehension questions, and grammar as well. Okay, the next is the question which talks about okay, so right now let's talk about the next question. The next topic is wrong words. So what happens is, when you are listening, let's say in Hindi, and you are translating it in English, sometimes your translation would be incorrect, and that incorrect translation could change the meaning of the whole thing. So make sure you are not using wrong words, and this is very very common when there is a kind of bilingual content that is referred. Most commonly what error comes in is the wrong vocabulary, the wrong words that are being used. The next important thing that we have often seen is a small vocabulary. That's very very obvious, because since you are listening a very less content in English, your vocabulary for English or reading very less content in English, what would happen is your vocabulary for English would slowly and gradually narrow down. And since this vocabulary starts to narrow down, what would happen? It would become very difficult to express yourself in one common language. So since it's very important to express yourself in one language in your examination, it's very sure that you are well versed with that language, and that comes only and only through practice. And this is one of the good ways why you won't have to put in extra effort to have a command onto the language separately and study your subject separately. It can go hand in hand. And the next and the most important thing is tip of the tongue. Most of the times you would have, oh, the word is on my tip, but I cannot express it. So that happens when there is lots and lots of kind of multiple languages that are used. And to remove that, it's better that you comprehend and practice only in a single language, whatever language you opt for. So this tip of the tongue phenomena would be significantly reduced. And if you are able to check these points, definitely you would not lose. Okay, so I repeat again, it's very important that when you are communicating, be it with your friends, be it in a form of written communication, you are trying to practice your answer writing, you are making it a point that you are constantly doing it, first of all. Secondly, you are maintaining a single language, and as I said, that reduces the effort on your brain. The processing becomes much more smoother, much more simpler, and there is no additional cost that the brain has to bear in processing and understanding two languages. There is another question regarding NCERT classes for IAS. Yes, definitely we are continuing with the NCERT classes. As I already mentioned, most of it has been done and many of it is in development. So we will be covering those NCERTs in the upcoming sessions. Now, as I said, whenever a content comes in, let's say the content is there on Examrace Hindi also, but those who are not able to understand the same video here would be recommended to go and understand it. So only for the process of understanding you can opt for a bilingual content for a very specific section. Let's say you are watching the whole of the NCERT. Let's say 5 minutes you are not able to understand. So those 5 minutes of the section that is there, you can go back to Examrace Hindi and understand it in that scenario. But when it comes to a general overview, it's much more recommended that you follow a single language, and that would help you sustain wonderfully. Amu has another question. How can we improve the vocabulary? Okay, so Arna, so right name is Arna. Okay, Arna, you want to improve the vocabulary. So as I said, vocabulary improvement should not be taken as a separate aspect. It should not be something separate that you should be putting effort on. While you are reading your content, all your subjects, when you are practicing all your topics, that is something you are doing along with it. So language is being built along with it. Let's say you are reading any chapter of science or social science. What would happen? You would be understanding the sentence formation. You would be going through the past tense, the present tense, the future tense, the various forms, the active and the passive voice. Now all those is going along with the content. You need not to put in separate effort to read and understand, except the literature part, I would say. The grammar part is already set when you are doing all your subjects at a consistent pace. So that is something you should not worry about separately. If you are reading the content in English, if you are able to comprehend it, definitely you will be able to express and write it. There is another question. Is there any free website for coaching for UPSC? Yes. So all the topics for NCERT that you are looking for are available here, so you can just check them out. And then if you have any specific time, we have taken another lecture where we have discussed, do you actually require a coaching for clearing a UPSC? So I would recommend just go back and check out that video. Rakesh has another question. What is the timing for the live classes? So on Examrace English, this channel, we have every Sunday 10:30 we are meeting live here. Any of your doubts, any of your questions would be resolved in the live sessions. All the videos are scheduled for from Monday to Sunday at 7:30 in the evening, and morning you have 11:30 a.m. where you have Monday to Friday the videos are coming on Examrace. Right now we have a series of videos for mathematics and science in the morning, and a series of videos for UPSC, for NET examination and NCRT coverage in the evening that would be there. And the schedule for the upcoming videos is always there in the community page. So if you want more details about it, you can just have a look at the community page. Vikram has another question. Please upload the video on disaster management class 9. So yes, Vikram, we have covered a lot of videos for class 9th already, and the remaining videos that are there are in development, so would be available very shortly. Also mathematics, we have started the series which is available in the morning. Yes, definitely we can meet every Friday at 10:30 on Examrace Hindi. So for those from Hindi medium or who are more at Examrace Hindi, can meet us there at Friday 10:30, and at Examrace it's the Sunday 10:30 that we would be available. Again, since there is so much indecisiveness with the ongoing exam that is about to come, there is a lot of queries from the student raised about what should be the preparation strategy. Coaching centers are not functional. How should we go around? As Creative had a question right now. So that's what I said. Just go and watch that video to have a more idea about how, even without the coaching centers, if you are wholeheartedly devoted and if you are doing good self-study, you would be able to secure very good marks. So definitely that is something that is very essential. Self-discipline and consistency, maintaining the same pace every day. Okay, the next is a question from Preeti. The NCRT videos are helpful for UPSC examinations. Yes, definitely those NCRT videos that we have covered are a gist of the content that is there. And again, for certain prelim section, I would recommend you go through Down to Earth. Another important thing is the GC Leong series, the 25 lectures that are already covered. Another question is, with UPSC, can without mathematics and Telugu language, is it possible to clear UPSC? You can qualify UPSC in any of the regional languages, but as I said, stick to the language. If you are looking to clear in Telugu language, refer all the literature in Telugu language. Okay, that is very important. Okay, and the next is mathematics. So regarding optional, you can pick up any of the optionals that you want. You should not go by the running trend. This is the trend, most of the students getting success from this optional, so let's go to this optional. No, we have already covered another video where we have talked about deciding optional. Okay, so deciding your optional for UPSC is something that is not a difficult task. It's only dependent broadly on your interest and your expertise into a subject, and with that you can stick to one optional. But again, important, don't switch optionals. I've seen students switching optionals after 1 year, 2 years, and then that creates a total disaster, a total havoc. So don't make that a point. Whatever topic you take, whatever optional you take, you stick to it. You don't divert from it. If you divert, you would have to put in a new effort into a new subject from the very beginning, and that would be very tedious job. That is again important. So there was next question regarding English classes for DSC examination. So Mahi, if you have a specific syllabus and specific topics that you want to be covered, please email those to contact us at Examrace or admin at Examrace. We'll just go through the syllabus and see if there is something that is not covered and specific topics are required. We'll either create those, or if those are already covered, we'll provide you the links for the same. Dilip has a question. Shifting from Hindi to English is very slow and little confusing. So what should you do? Dilip, for this I have a good suggestion and indeed a very very good question from Dilip. So what you can do is, let's say you are watching this video right now. So in the captions section, you would have the caption and you can turn on the captions and select Hindi as the language. Now when you select Hindi as the language, what would happen? Whatever I am speaking, and that is in English, but the captions would run in Hindi. So intermittently, if you are not able to understand certain things, you can just refer those captions. Since those are auto generated, those won't be accurate, but very very close to accuracy. Okay, so you would have a brief idea about certain things that you are missing because of English language, which would be translated there through the captions. So that is something I definitely recommend to students, and indeed a very very good question being brought about by Dilip. Om has a question: how should I speak English continuously? So Om, let's say I'm taking this class, so it's a kind of continuous English that is being spoken. So something that you can do is, you can prepare a topic and go in front of a mirror and express that topic or repeat that topic. So that's good way of memorizing, and so there are two benefits. Firstly, you will be able to memorize the content, and secondly, since you are rehearsing in front of the mirror, you are automatically enhancing your vocabulary. You are trying to continuously speak English, and therefore your fluency with the language would improve, and that is again a very very important thing that you should consider. So Om has another question: I can understand and write English but cannot speak. So that is something that we often recommend to students. You can practice in front of mirror, so that is indeed a good way. Another good idea is talk to your friends or relatives, whoever can help you with English conversation. Try to speak to them in English, and that would also enhance your vocabulary. The next is any special timetable for UPSC? Yes, we do have a kind of quick 60 days timetable that we had covered last year, and we have the video already there at the channel. So you can refer that as one of the videos to have a timetable or a layout for your UPSC preparation. So that was it, and we would be covering many more topics in the upcoming sessions. We are looking for feedback from your end. If you have any questions, any doubts, or any specific topic of discussion for this Sunday session, or in general any other specific topic which is conceptual you wanted to be explained in the lectures, please feel free to drop an email to admin@examrace.com, and we would be more than happy to cover those topics on priority. Tiger has another question: I can't speak English fast. This is something that comes with practice. So don't hurry up with this. Try to maintain your pace. Slowly and gradually, what would happen? Your speed would automatically improve. Anyat has another very good question: whenever I am trying to revise the topics, I am feeling bored. So a good way of making the topic interesting is try to associate it with certain thing. Let's say you have certain hobby in which you are interested, so try to make things closer to that hobby. So let's say you have music as a hobby. What you can do is, you can convert any of the concept that you are studying and you are feeling that this is very very boring, you can consider it into a musical rhythm and try to learn it. So that is one of the tricks through which you can practice on more on this, and slowly and gradually the boredom would be reduced. Deba Smita has a very good question: how to prepare for ethics? Now ethics is something that is very very conceptual, and most of the people I have seen do not have problem with ethics, but the main problem they face is with the case studies that are there. So when it comes to case studies, it's important. We already have covered a few of the case studies at Examrace. We would be continuing a series of ethics after your prelims as well. So you can just check those as some of the ideas to generate what kind of thought building is required before you are attempting your case studies. And the theoretical portion of the ethics, I believe, should be fine and can be covered from the standard type of questions that are asked. The next is, I do not know Telugu language, but I am from Telangana. Is it possible to clear UPSC without Telugu? Yes, definitely you can opt any of the languages that does not matter as far as you are applying for central services. If you are applying for state services, that could be one of the limitations that you could face. Sairam has another question. He can speak English fluently, but the fact is there, whenever I talk English who is fluent, I forgot what to talk. Okay, so that is something that comes out of fear. So Sairam, this is something that is coming because of the fear inside you. You have confidence speaking English, but as soon as, let's say, this is something which is similar to a stage fright, what we say. So what happens is, if you face someone who is fluently talking in English, you feel that I am not that good in English, and then you start to stammer, we could say. So what would happen is, something that you could try actually is, consider that the person in front of you does not know English very well. Even if he or she is speaking fluently, consider that he is not speaking as good as you can, and then try to speak. So might be you will be able to have a better stand and a better position then. Okay, the next question is, Dilip has a question. Is there any video on world agriculture and industries for optional? So Dilip, we have covered most of the topics for human geography already. So you can just check those at the channel, and the general theories we have already covered. The specific regionalizations have also been covered. Anushka has another good question. How can the grammatical errors be corrected? Now, grammatical errors, correction of that can be done only when you are having a strong vocabulary, and that comes with practice. So, more you read, more you listen, more you write, you would be able to understand what kind of grammatical mistakes you are constantly committing, and a kind of similar mistakes that are being seen every time could be significantly reduced. Okay, Krishna Kumar Amar has a question about NCERT class 11th history. I know, Krishna, there have been a lot of queries regarding this. So we are already in the process of covering class 11th political science. We would be shortly covering the class 11th history as well. Okay, so that was it for today. We will be meeting next Sunday again. Till then, have a great evening and have a great day ahead.